There we go.
I heard you say boom about 10 times, but
I got
no, man.
excited.
Yeah,
Every time I think I make technology work, I get excited.
that's all good.
So, welcome to the weekly scrap, Firehouse Vigilance, John Buttrick. Respectful entry. I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself before we start talking, and we'll go from there.
All right, cool, man. Well, thank you for having me. John Buttrick, Coastal Fire Training. I'm just one guy with our group of people, and we got this this thing we believe in, respectful entry, and through the lock, and just kind of made a go at it on initially social media, and it's kind of grown from there, and the program's kind of flourished into something I don't think any of us kind of predicted, but we're pretty proud of it, and the whole thing's about knowledge sharing and just passing it all on. So especially what was passed on to us. So that's kind of where we're at with it right now.
No, it's awesome. Of course, being a firefighter, I've always heard of forcible entry. Respectful entry seems to be a new term that's come around. Where did that come from? For me, it's a new term, I should say. I don't know if it's been around forever. Fill me in.
No, so I'll give credit to that term to Brian Matson. Probably about, I don't know, whenever the famous framing square hit truck floor training, everyone was, and myself included, pretty intrigued by it. So that and just a bunch of things that occurred, personally and professionally at the same time, kind of led to this huge rabbit hole we've led down. But now Brian Matson and I were on the phone. It was probably, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. I know I was at a hotel at a conference or something. We were on the phone about something that he had posted, and he threw that term out, and we just kind of went with it. And it just it accurately describes the escalation of damage system that we kind of profess, which just starts with non-destructive entry, Lloyd's, bypasses, things like that. And then it just escalates from there, where it meets back at conventional forcible entry.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to talk about was what do you call it? The escalating damage? What do you call it?
Yeah, just escalation of damage. So basically, Lloyd's, bypasses, tricks. I think by now everyone's seen the duster can video or the hot pack in a belt or sticking a J tool in a muffler. Just things that are 100% no damage, right? So even shims, J tools, the JV tool, things like that. So 100% no damage, non-destructive, no damage. And then from there, we just, profess that you just do lock damage, right? So
Go straight
we're out
through
with
the
that.
lock.
Well, so whatever you're met with, but doing damage to just the lock is typically, especially residential, a homeowner fix, right? So if you don't damage the door, you don't damage the frame, especially in less advantaged neighborhoods, the homeowner or the tenant or the landlord can typically fix that themselves, right? So if you go straight to conventional, you got two problems. You created a problem for your community, and then also resecuring the building when you go to leave, is always an issue when you blow the lock door and frame apart. So, you scale that up with the call, right? So the right calls at the right times with the right training, and we get comments all the time, well, I wouldn't do that if it was on fire. No, we're not saying that, right? We're saying to do this at the right call at the right time and scale up the escalation to meet the call.
To meet what's needed.
Right?
No, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So, and what we've just kind of boiled it all down to now is if you know how, you'll know when. So if you know what you can do and you know what you can employ, you'll only take it up as high as you need to. And the win is that you can typically resecure these buildings or do no damage at all, and you clear up faster. It's a win for the business owner, the homeowner, everybody. So
No, that's great customer service. The less damage you can
yeah.
do to get the job done.
Yeah, and it's an improved image for your fire department as well. So, and that's where we're at with the respectful entry kits and things like that. So,
No, that's beautiful. And don't get me wrong, I've been doing firefighting 23 years, and there's one thing firemen are good at, and that is tearing stuff up. And so to have to approach it from the respectful side and apply only the force that is needed and understanding when it's needed, it's a beautiful concept. I look forward to hopefully catching your class when I come out in 2020.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I mean, obviously this was born out of, I love forcible entry. I love, truck work. So this didn't just, become some kind of off the wall thing that I was interested in. I kind of started at the other end of the spectrum, and we've kind of worked our way back to
start with the most damage and then slowly learn how to do less and less.
And, if you understand, there was a bit in the FDIC video about this, but if you understand how this stuff's put together and kind of how it works and how you can defeat it through the lock methods, when you're met with a tough door conventionally, there's certain things that you can still employ that are going to make your conventional job a little bit easier, right? So just like building construction, if you understand how it's put together, you can understand how it's going to come apart.
Sure. What it can withhold. Yeah. No, I like it. Escalating damage. Next thing I wanted to talk to you about, and this has been going around social media quite a bit. I posted it in the hype thing on Instagram, on Facebook. In fact, I even got a comment on Facebook or on Instagram. That's it. The mug. I love the mug. You can show it up there. You can let people read it if you'd like. Yeah. Where did the mug come from? Who is it? Is this you? Go ahead.
No, the quote, honestly, the quote's been out there. I've seen it in the fire department since I got in about 10 years ago. Where it came about for us, honestly, is I went to H-Rock 4 or 5 years ago for the first time. And they had it, I don't think it was coffee mugs. I can't remember what it was. But we saw it down in Florida at Kurt Isaacson's class. So Eric Hilly out of California, he does a lot of my swag, the tags, the cups, all that stuff. And we were talking about, just getting something out there to kind of help promote everything we were doing. And he and I had a quick conversation, scrolling through some pictures, and I was like, "Hey, man, what do you think about this?" And people can argue that it's confrontational or it's people are more important than train. Okay, I think it's I think it's a good quote, and it aligns with what I believe in. And people are the most important thing. But when we're talking about training, we're talking about taking care of our people. So, that's a parallel in my eyes. When you read this, where I'm talking about taking care of people, taking care of ourselves, and all that. So.
And for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, the quote on the cup is, if you don't believe that training is the most important thing for an organization, then you're the biggest asshole that ever walked the face of the earth. And so very conversational quote.
Yeah, I don't know who to give credit to. I mean, if you're out there, you're watching this, whatever, you came up with it, you were the first to speak up. We'll send you some,
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful quote that gets a lot of conversations started. There is no doubt. Just posting the scrap today, I had a guy say that, no, I think safety and health is the most important thing. And you can say, well, how are you going to get there without training?
I think it all boils down to training and taking care. I got it in my notes here. Just taking care of ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, looking out for each other. Everything boils down to, I'm a perpetual learner, right? That's what I believe in. So constantly learning, constantly training, constantly evolving. So if you're doing that, you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your brothers and sisters in the station, your boss is probably taking care of you, you're looking out for him, and it's just, and it just builds out from there, it spills into your family life and everything else. So, it's not meant to be a catch-all quote, it's not the end-all be-all, right? And I can assure you that, for every one bad comment we get, we sell 2 mugs. So that's why guys are buying it. They want to sit down with the guy that is pessimistic about everything and doesn't, and just be like, boom, Yes. And then it starts a conversation. So,
oh, absolutely.
And that's it. At the end of the day, it's a coffee mug.
Right. Oh, but I do love it. I love the sentiment behind it. Very confrontational to lead to conversational. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I like that a lot. All right. Your videos. That's the next thing I wanted to ask you about, dude. I love do you make them? Is there a team that makes them?
Yep. So there's a team, Daniel Collins out of Texas, and I got Adam Church in Florida. And then we got so those are my main guys. It's kind of us three working on the media side of things. And then I have an executive board that kind of I kindly refer to them as the elders. They're kind of the guys that I look to for advice and direction, and they're kind of like the senior level advisors. But as far as the boots on the ground, the props being built, the media being edited, all that, I owe that all to Daniel and Adam. I mean, they take care of a lot of stuff.
They do some high quality work. Always
They do. They
short,
do.
to the
They
point.
do.
Great film editing. And they get their point across on whatever lock they're breaking down or whatever concept they're explaining. They do a wonderful job, and you share those everywhere, and that's just beautiful. You're making the fire service better with those.
Yeah, and that's all we're trying to do. So, and that's how Daniel and I, all three of us, that's how we met, was just a kind of parallel interest for this stuff, and just getting it out there, right? Like, not withholding, not lording, the information, but just if you get it out there, let's teach this stuff. And a lot of the beauty of a lot of this is that we can teach it virtually, or we can, we'll send you the stuff. We post pictures of all of our props. I mean, with a little bit of ingenuity, you can recreate this stuff. So, we're not trying to hide anything. We're trying, we want to get all that stuff out there. So, and the page grew very fast. The ability for myself to make all the videos I was making in the beginning with the guys in my station. Originally this started with Captain Barry and George Best, 25 engine in Suffolk. We just common interest, common ground, and we started building little tiny stuff, and it blew up to whatever it is right now. But
it's growing, dude. It's wildly influential.
Yeah.
It's the power of social media now too. That wasn't always out there before, and that's amazing.
No.
People with passion and purpose, and talent are really able to get that message out there. That's beautiful. So, coastal fire training, history, timeline, where you going, what you got planned?
Oh man, so we started in 2016. Like I said, it kind of slowed. It started up at Station 5 in Suffolk, and we just we grew it from there. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all that's kind of helped us propel our message. We got the website now. I'd say the biggest thing next year is looking good for us. FDIC 2020, we have a lecture course there.
Very nice.
And then,
congratulations on that.
I'm very, very excited, very thankful. And then, on the heels of that, we have classes May in Orange, Massachusetts with Adapt and Overcome. We're doing the Franklin County Conference up there. We have classes scheduled June and July 2020 in Illinois, and then we're looking at some stuff. We submitted for some other courses throughout 2020. We're hopeful we get them, and just looking forward to just getting out there and talking about this stuff. And even at FDIC, I'm gonna push the limits of being in a classroom, and we're gonna have some classroom props, and some things that guys can get their hands on, and
guys
they'll appreciate that in a classroom.
They'll appreciate that.
Like
no doubt.
Like I would, right? Yeah. So, and just keep pushing, keep doing what we're doing, and see where it takes us.
Awesome. What is your you guys sell a lot of stuff on the website as far as respectful entry? What the respectful entry, probably your most popular item, or the coffee mug itself?
I think coffee, I looked at the stuff before. I think the coffee mug's like number 3 right now. The respectful entry kits, honestly, that was kind of unprecedented. I mean, we finally, it's something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I toyed a long time with what I was going to put in it. Toyed with all the naysayers that said, who's going to buy that? No one would,
right.
all that stuff that we heard in the beginning. That's just noise now.
Barking.
But the respectful entry kits are definitely the best seller. I just packed last night. 5 kits to one department, 3 to another. We're seeing a lot of multi kit orders per department. Departments that are outfitting their entire all their front run apparatus, all their truck companies, their special service pieces. So that's really cool. The padlock simulators have been, they've been selling pretty well. And then, we got miscellaneous stuff on there. We're selling, the Char Tool, Bad Axe, Vanguard gloves. We got, a bunch of other stuff. But I would say that the definite crux of the website and the sales is the respectful entry stuff and the
Well, I know
light,
I'm going to go straight to my chief and talk to him about getting respectful entry kits because, like you mentioned earlier, it's the amount of customer service and the image for your department when you can go and make entry into a fire alarm or something where it's not needed to tear the entire door down or the entire wall down to get inside. I love
yeah.
that.
And we're not saying, we're not saying don't use the Knox box. We're not saying don't use your head. No, we're not saying, don't use common sense. But I can speak from experience and a lot of calls that we have documented in our PowerPoint where it's either been the wrong key or the keys aren't in there.
Sure.
Or companies operating on the fire ground before you get there, they've taken the Knox box key, the only one, they're inside. Subsequent companies go to enter and the doors are shut behind them or whatever the case may be. But again, if you know how, you'll know when. And if you don't have the stuff on your truck, then you can't execute it, right? So just having it as, I don't really care for the phrase tool in your toolbox, but if you have it on the truck and you're able to employ it, then it's an option, right?
Sure.
And if you don't, then you can't. So, yeah, I mean, and, we're seeing a lot of success with it. We're getting a lot of good reviews and guys send videos and all that, that stuff. And it just, it kind of reinforces it, and it drives us to make more videos and get behind this stuff even more because it's proven. So,
Dude, that's awesome. I love it. I love the fact how fast it's growing. Your passion has found a audience that is hungry for it, and it is great to see. Man, anything else you want to touch on while you're here?
You asked me about a book. I haven't really read anything to recommend, that I've already read, but a good friend of mine, Jared Sergi's coming out with No Nonsense Leadership. It's a company officer book that he's writing, and I would say be on the lookout for that for sure.
Okay.
That's definitely going to be a must.
I saw a post on it. How quickly is it coming? It's coming out pretty quick, isn't it?
I think he's looking at being finalized in the next couple of weeks. I don't know when it's going to publishing. I talked to him this afternoon, but it's definitely on its way out. So
no, I'm definitely looking forward to reading it. I'm going to try and get him on the scrap to talk about it before it comes out or shortly after it does, so he can hype it up a little bit. And looking forward to that. So,
oh yeah,
perfect, man.
Cool.
Hey, I want to say, John Buttrick, Coastal Fire Training, respectful entry, the man behind the mug, and thank you for being a guest on Firehouse Vigilance Weekly Scrap.
Hey man, thank you for having me.
I appreciate it very much. Everybody out there, thank you for watching. We'll be back next week for the next weekly scrap. The planned guest, Michael Snodgrass, the man behind the Fire X Talks, the genius, and we'll be having him on. So it'll be, if you don't know him, he's an unbelievably great guy up there in the Pacific Northwest. Our guest this week, John Buttrick, thank you very much. I hope the tone stays silent for everybody, unless it's burning. You guys stay safe out there. Thank you, John.
All right. Thanks, sir. Yes, sir.